Well, there's a long winter coming. I ain't got hardly no skin on my bones.
Remember, labor in the expression of worth.
Alien dancer. I dance like an alien.
You can clearly see my efforts to be funnier. Remember.
Nobody wants to catch the herpes. There's no doubt about that. And nobody wants to be devoured by a large predatory cat.
Work, it is said, may be quantified in the multiplication of a distance by a Newton. Galileo and Newton understood the universe to be like a great ticking clock, and as we turned into the 20th century, physics seemed to be just about wrapped up.
Transrational. Come on home to the quantum.
Labor and the expression of worth. We honor our ancestors by getting free from the bondage we were all born into.
Freedom!
When I was a fifth grader, I aimed hate speech at two fellow classmates.
Ooh.
From one of those boys, I received a warning and then a humbling punch in the gut.
Thank you.
The other boy imparted to me an image of self-hate and agony that I would come to know in myself, each time a more devastating experience. I once had a therapist named Penny. She asked me this question: how much of the self-hate monologue in your head do you believe is hereditary?
Not exactly.
She didn't say it quite like that. The question was more to the frequency of, how much of that self-hate is your father's voice that still speaks to you? I answered almost immediately. 85%, I said. Hold on, I said. I felt that maybe I'd answered too quickly. I paused, taking in a breath, as I'd learned to do in the time since I'd first sat on Penny's couch at La Casa, there in Portales. 85%, I repeated. 85% of that hurtful voice that I hear in my head sounds like my dad.
But nobody wants to go to hell and meet the devil, 'cause it's too damn hot down there. And nobody wants to sit on a tack, even if it's in a comfy chair.
What is it like to wake up from a deep, unconscious culture of hate and shame? We are waking up now, individually and collectively. I was educated first about the horrors of slavery and genocide through television. I was raised by a father who was incredibly tortured by his own shame experience. I was taught that I would feel big if I made others feel small. But it really didn't work for me. After I called him a hurtful name, my classmate punched me in the gut. I realized there in the red Oklahoma dirt that I was in the wrong. I could see it so clearly. My other classmate told his friend that he wanted to tear his dark skin off and discover white skin underneath. When I heard that, I felt sick and somewhat terrified. I was 9. Sometimes our ancestors have dealt great hurt on others, and some of our ancestors are the ones who have been deeply hurt. No one escapes the terrible damage that was caused by genocide and slavery. We each have a responsibility to wake up from our personal suffering and then to share that awakening with our fellow human being, to share and receive with the very earth around us, the trees, the rocks, the rivers, the mountains. We have the power together to overcome our roles as victims and victimizer, oppressed and oppressors, colonized and colonizers. As we are emerging from these roles of inequality, it may become very uncomfortable, even painful. Our relationships will need to be reordered, and the old behavioral contracts that we made will have to be renegotiated. It is important to remember that any relational contract that is not in alignment with love is not binding. Sometimes we come to rest in relationships of inequality. We put ourselves above our partner, we put ourselves below them, we put some people down, we idolize others, we feel most comfortable in these unequal, unhealthy relationships because it is all we have ever known. I came to understand of myself that I was actively seeking to be subjected. Some of us want to abuse you, some of us want to be abused. It was not until I was approximately 35 years old that I began to understand that I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. My younger brother took his own life nearly 3 years ago. It appeared to me, in my time with him, that he was completely identified with his own suffering. He believed that he was an angry and hurtful man. That's not who he was, but he believed himself to be. My brother and I are closer now than when he was here. Our relationship is still not easy, but now I can see how true some of the things were that he was trying to tell me for many years. In the month that I spent with my brother before he made his choice, several times he asked me if we could talk about shame. My response was 3 times yes, but he just couldn't. Sometimes we are born into circumstances that teach us a devastating lie. Sometimes we are told that shame is love, and that love is shame. If you are an adult who is dealing with this confusion, give yourself plenty of time. Receive the gift of life as it comes. It is understandable why this is so difficult. Truly understandable. And this is a lifetime's work. And as we do this work in ourselves, we begin to encounter the world, the other, in a different way. Be fearless. As above, so below. Penny told me once that she believes all hate to be self-hate. I believe she is right. Devote yourself to your own healing, and you are devoting yourself to the healing of the world. I see the light in you. Travelin' Trav's Transrational Blues.
As I tuck you under covers, I'll be hung.
We are discovering our common work and our common stories.
Everybody wants what everybody wants, but things don't work like that. Everybody wants a slice of good life. Everybody wants to get fat.
Many of us are coming to terms with this karma-ized dystopian world in which we seem to be in charge of these avatars.
It's Traveling Trav's Transrational Blues, man. Come on. Strengthen a tribe member. Remember! Strengthening a tribe member deepens a tribe. Depth tribes feed the world. Together we're discovering our common work and our common stories. Come on.
Yeah, I believe in you.
I think you can clearly see my efforts to be funnier, and I hope you really do appreciate it. Alright, talk to you later, bye.
Because I am an alien. Alien. I'm an alien dancer. I'm an alien dancer.